What's up, guys? My name is SnyperSama, but you can call me Sniper. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be doing some fashion hunting. Now, I'm fully aware that because there's not a whole lot of stuff going on in the actual game, some people that are still playing might be looking for the true end game, and that is drip. I'm not even gonna lie, in every single game that I have played, Destiny 2, Warframe, Helldivers, Monster Hunter, both World, Rise, and Wilds, the end game is always fashion. I love looking sick or simple while doing just the craziest things. So, today we've got a video just for that. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing though. It really lets me know what you guys are enjoying, what you guys aren't. It really does help. Since the game has teetered off a little bit, the views have dropped very significantly, and that's okay. That's to be had. I'm only a year into this, so it happens. In fact, the amount of growth that we have had despite the fact that the game is not currently updating is wild. So, get it? Get it? Because it's Monster Hunter. What? Sorry. I'm sorry. Anyways, make sure you guys are liking, commenting, and subscribing. Tell your friends, tell your family. You know, for the YouTube commenter, hopefully you're still watching, that would sit there and be like, hey guys, what's going on? And make fun of me in the comments in a loving way. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys are the best. But without further ado, let's get into it. This is what I call the Dark Lord. Now, the reason I call this the Dark Lord is just because it kind of gives me like a... not a Lich King, because he's black and red, but a very, like, Knight of Hell vibe. And I seriously love it. So, what we've got rocking is the Arc Vulcan Helm Gamma, Arc Vulcan Mail Gamma. This is just going to be 000 for the black on the helmet in both categories. You can adjust this a little bit if you want to, but unfortunately does not change the red or the brightness of the eyes, okay? For the chest plate, we are rocking 0021. This is just going to have the little bit of gray to it. I preferred it to the white, which is why I went with it. And then we just go back to 000. For the arms, we have the Noblesse Bracers. These are a pre-order bonus. If you do not have these, you can kind of substitute. At least what I really liked was the Omega, the Bale piece. That is not the right... That was the chest plate. That was not the right thing. Let's click the right thing this time. Here we go. It was the Bale arms that I really liked. I thought the Bale arms looked clean with it. I would probably adjust them a little bit to match the shoulder pauldrons, but nonetheless, they are good. And if you have the Noblesse Bracers, you don't have to worry about it. Bale Flanchered Alpha. This is going to be our coil, our waist piece. The reds... to me match up, but I'm also, like I said, I'm colorblind in reds. I struggle with them. So if they don't match up for you, just adjust them, fine tune them. Both of these blacks here are also 000 on the color scale. And then we have the 0021, and that is going to give us the little tips at the very bottom. Okay. And then for the boots, we have my favorite boots, which are the Arch-Tempered Raydow Sandgreaves. Also just 000 black across the board. Okay, very subtle, very nice, but utilizing some of the hardest gear in the game to get. Okay, next up is we have the Gladiator. This is actually one that I've been messing with quite a bit. I enjoy this. It gives me wartime gladiator vibes. You have the sword on the back, you've got the gauntlets that look like they're covered in blood, as well as the actual, like, I can't remember what they're called because they're not pauldrons, but the spikes on the side at your elbow where the crease is, plus the scar from the helmet. It all looks crazy. So, Arc Vulcan Helm Gamma, Guardian Arcveld Male Alpha, Dahad Shard Braces Gamma, the Sororol Coil, and then obviously Raydow Sandgreaves again because they're just some of the best looking boots. Altogether, you have on the black pieces a 000. On the rest of the helmet, you have 0074. This is going to give you a little bit of that gray, a little bit of that red, and make it pop without being just crazy bright. Okay. Go back to 74. There we go. On the chest plate, we have a 00100. This is just going to make it to where the actual fur doesn't darken too much because it's going to adjust the color of the tattoos. If you wanted to go for something a little less where you don't see it as much, I would drop it. But I really, really liked having it just super, super bright. It helped to kind of blend in a little bit with everything and showcase a little bit of the tattoos underneath. So, as far as the 3 reds go, it's 00116. Kind of gives it that blood look, which I really like, and that is going to be on these 3. And then for the actual regular piece of gear, we have 240, 105. I don't want to mess with it too much because I will forget. Okay. As far as the coil goes, it ends up being 0103. And then the boots are just 000. I lied. It's 0103. I forgot there's a little hue at the bottom to these boots. Then we have Bloodstained. This one, I actually got quite a few comments from you guys about on other videos about me saying I looked like a pimp. Excuse you. Why would you ever talk to a pimp that way? Anyways, Quematrist Helm Alpha, Arc Vulcan Male Gamma, Noblesse Braces once again, Bale Flanchard Alpha once again, and Raydell Sandgreaves again. Because there's just something to be said about such a good combination of gear that you want to use it with everything because it just looks that good. Okay. The Quematrist Helm Alpha, it's just going to be 00100 on both pieces because the feather will always remain that red color. The chest plate is going to be 00100, then 000, and then it's going to end up being everything else the same. Where you see black, it is the 000. Where you see white, it is the 00100. You can definitely mix and match these a little bit if you wanted to go for a little more white on your armor, but at least for me, I really liked the contrast between them without it being overpowering. We're going to leave this Nightmare Fuel for last because there was even more comments about that one. We have Forgotten Royal. Now, this one is relatively new, and the reason I created this one was because some of the events are coming back. It looks like they may be doing like a rotationary period in the future with each of the events, but it also could just be because it's that time of year. We are in May, so it's kind of springtime. I'm not 100% sure, but for those of you that may have been interested and didn't get some of the cooler pieces, now you can try to go back and have like a samurai look because the Blossom Dances event is currently here. So for this one, we have the Sealed Eye Patch Alpha, Azure Age Haori Alpha, Omega Vambraces Alpha, Suja Sash Alpha, and the Feudal Soldier Greaves. Just like the Noblesse Bracers, Feudal Soldier are going to be from pre-ordering the game. If you don't have that, Blossom Dance, like I said, is here, which means you can try to make it work with either the event quest of the Azure Age gear, or you can go for the Sakura Tide gear, where you can fit in the Sakura Tide Hakama or the other Sakura Tide Hakama, okay? Overall, though, I preferred the Feudal Soldier Greaves, so that's why I'm rocking them. For the golden accents on our gear, we are rocking 50, 68, 43. That is going to be right up top here with the headband, as well as the little markings both on our gloves, as well as the pommel and it's not the hilt. I can't remember what it's called, but essentially right next to the hilt of our Suja Sash blades. 50, 68, 43. For the black pieces, it's just going to be the standard black 0000. Okay. For the gray fur, 00 and 50. Like I said, I wasn't a huge fan of super bright, but I also didn't want it to be crazy dark, and the blues just didn't line up how I wanted, so I ended up going with just a gray royalty-esque vibe. For the boots, we went 240, 130. This is just to kind of complement the chest plate, where you can see a little bit of the blue as well, but it's a little harder to match just because of the shimmer going on here. So there's that. And then last but not least, you have 000. Now for the one that everybody seemed the most interested. Nightmare Fuel. This is literally just a funny looking set of drip. Like I said, I like looking entertaining. I like looking like I cleared things, but I also like the simplistic looks. I also just like love super derpy. What better derp do you have than the Rumpopolo mask? So, for our gear, we are rocking Rompo Mask Alpha, the Pinion Necklace, so obviously we get to bare our shirtlessness to everybody, the Toe Bean Mittens for when you gotta get into a fight, the Omega accessory because you don't need to match it with anything, and the Sakura Tide Hakama because when someone's getting beat, what better way to do it than in a wonderful, free-flowing piece of leg gear. This one is pretty self-explanatory. Wherever it's black, it's just straight black 000s, and then wherever it is white, it's the 00100. This is one of my favorite ones just because it's so derpy. I had a very similar one in Monster Hunter World that was using the Wiggler mask. And it was wonderful because with the buff body gear from the Furious Rajang quest in Monster Hunter World, you literally just looked like a jacked, like, anime character. So I went with buff body, everything, was pretty much naked, and I had either a cat head or a Wiggler head. That was it. This is pretty much as close as I can get right now, but that might change with the DLC later on. But since there were so many of you that commented, "What in the hell are you wearing, Sniper?" I figured it was time to show you exactly what true drip looks like. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you all for coming and watching. Thank you all for hanging out. If you guys are using any of these cosmetics in the game, let me know in the comments. And on top of that, if you have ideas for other cool dripped out outfits, let me know, especially in the comments. Okay, that being said, that is going to do it for today's video. Thank you all for coming and watching. Thank you all for hanging out. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Farewell. I don't ever slow up, no, I don't take shit.